All right, let's go. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, I see this life I live and I look at it like, oh my.
This song's gonna get me in trouble. My guests don't listen to that kind of song here. I'm gonna get in that trouble. All right, dash it. This song is called Praises. Actually, the song is called Deliverance. And the content of it is pretty nice, but you know, I don't want to end up in the principal office or the vestry, so I'm going to stand down and behave. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Evelyn People Show. I'm your host, Martin Matthews. If this is your first time joining the show, welcome to the show. On this show, we interview folks. We talk to old friends, new friends, folks we know for a long time, folks we've never met in person. But usually we have some kind of positivity involved, and we always have some poetry involved. The poetry we read typically comes from my book of poetry, which is back there. It's called Love, Life, Confrontation, Expressions, Selections from the Chronicles of a Black Man. It's a book of poetry, as mentioned. If you're in Jamaica, it's in Fontana Pharmacies. Anywhere else you are, it's available on Amazon.com. Now, my guest tonight is Reneé Mair, and this lady is very specific about her name, and I can appreciate that. And I hope I said it right. I don't want to get in trouble. Now, she is one phenomenal young woman. There's several things I want to get into with her today. But just to say, we met at the Michael many moons ago. I won't say how long, yes, and I guess how old we are. But she's a veteran educator. She is a guidance counselor. She is very, very much involved in her church. She's president of several things, the Women's Fellowship, the CARE committee. She leads the praise team. And she has quite a bit of things that she's working on. And last but not least, now I'm not going to spoil that. I'll wait till I'm asking her questions. Without any further ado, though, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to add my guests to the feed here. Reneé, Miss Mair, how are you?
I am doing wonderful.
When's the last time I see you? It's been a while, isn't it?
We met up at the reunion that we had for our batch about 3 years ago.
It is. Can you imagine? It is about 3 years ago. But it was lovely to see you then. It is lovely to see you now. Nice. So let's highlight some of the people here. We have who's that? Taffy Campbell is on here. She's looking forward to hearing the beautiful and powerful Reneé Mair. All right. We have, who's that? I'm not going to spoil the name, Miss Russell. I'm going to behave. But indeed, she is a very phenomenal person. And we have, that's Miss Webb again. She's there. Okay. Now that roll call is over, let's get right into it. You committed your life to the Lord at age 15. Now, do you remember where this was? What being a Christian or starting a Christian walk looked like at age 15? How did friends or family receive that?
Well, I can remember it just like yesterday.
Nice.
Well, my journey as a Christian started as early as I can ever remember myself, because I was raised in the church. my mommy was a church leader. So from ever since, so being 15 was just to make it formal that I have committed my life to the Lord. I remember it just like yesterday. It was a long process, but I can summarize it as I remember it. So I was very involved in Sunday school and the children's choir, doing a lot of work in the church, even getting certificates of merits for taking part in Sunday school exams.
Mm-hmm.
But that crucial decision was made at the age of 15 when I publicly decided to make that bold step to, give my life totally to God. Well, it was like this. I had a Sunday school teacher, Deacon Josephine Dunn, who was my motivator and my mentor at the time. And she would encourage me to give my life to the Lord.
Right.
I remember she asked me to watch TBN, and to tell you the truth, Martin, TBN wasn't a channel that I would sit and watch as a teenager. And I decided that day that I was going to, watch to see what it was all about. And I remember the program Breakthrough with Rod Parsley. And the scripture that really ministered to me was St. Matthew 16, verse 24 to about verse 26. It says, Jesus said to his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow him. For whosoever shall save his life shall lose it, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. And I remember, I said, if I gain the whole world and lose my soul, where would I go? And that was the crucial decision for me. And Nell started to cry, and the rest is history. Now, how did my friends and family?
I'm impressed that you remember that so vividly. Like, I'm here listening to you, and I'm like, we're going to have an altar call at the end of the show. I just know it. And if we're coming out, if we're starting like this, I like it. I like it. You're saying, please continue.
Okay, my friends were very supportive. But initially, before I officially became a Christian, they thought that I was a Christian from about age 11. So they were very conscious around me at school whenever they're going to talk about boyfriend and girlfriend and anything out of order rude. They would say, Renee is here. We can't talk like that. We can't say this. That would get to me so much. I was so annoyed by it. I would even say, I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Christian. Stop saying that. And at one point, I was influenced by peer pressure. I remember one day I took a little short jumper to school, and we changed our clothes and went to the mall. I said, I don't even wear that jumper out to the gate, but because I wanted to fit in, I put it on and we went to the mall and all of that. But then I decided that crew wasn't for me, and I made a right about turn. And then after that, I officially became a Christian. And then I got actively involved in ISCF. So my family and friends were very supportive.
That's good. Now, that dedication carried over into what you're doing now. You're a very active member of the Waterford Baptist. To say you wear many hats is kind of an understatement, because you're the altar counselor, you're the president of the Women's Federation, you're the president of the care committee, and you're in charge of the praise team, which includes dancing, if I remember. Now, and I think you just became a deacon in the church. Now, let's look at, okay, so the one of this that I'm very interested in is the first one, where it says you are a altar counselor. Now, I say that because back in the day, I was at an altar at a church at a certain time, and there were persons there, and they were hitting me on the lip and telling me to speak it, brother, speak it, brother, speak it. And they were, trying to get me going there. Mind you, I don't know, I didn't know what to make of it at the time. It was my first experience in that. Is that what an altar counselor is? And at your leisure, tell me about these other hats that you wear.
As you said, I wear many hats, and one of such is being an altar counselor. Well, our role is to stand beside the persons who go to the altar and just to reassure them that they have someone there with them. When they move from the altar, we take them to a place where we would speak with them, find out the reason why they came up to the altar, whether it was for prayer or just to recommit their lives or to give their lives to the Lord. And we will just take them through a series of instructions and allow them to prepare themselves for if they are going to make that commitment to God, I'll just pray with them. So that's basically the role. Just being there with them, let them know that someone is standing beside them and will give them some motivation in the step that they would like to take, whether it is just for recommitment or just for prayers, etc.
Now, simultaneously doing the rest of these tasks, the president of the Women's Federation, the president of the Care Committee, these are all being done simultaneously?
Yes, all of them. Currently, these are the positions that I have. And I was the superintendent for the Sunday school for about 10 years. But we now have what we call a manual, and no one can hold a position for that long anymore. But at that time, I had some major leadership roles in the youth fellowship, and I was elected the president of the Women's Federation from that time too. So I was the youngest member of the federation at that time, and also the youngest leader as president of the federation. And I tell you, that was an experience.
You, my dear, if I had a hat, I would keep it to you because obviously the church is an active church.
Yes.
And for you to have these hats means that the people, your peers around you look up to you. And like you said, from you were pretty young, they could see that this light was shining within you. And now as you're getting older, the responsibilities associated with it are coming with it. The amount of people on the live right now alone speaks to just how folks view you, how you are referenced by your peers. And it's very admirable. Now, I know that you are, I was looking for a clip, I couldn't find it, but you dance as well, don't you?
Yes, I love dancing, and that was one of the ministries that I took on when I publicly decided to become a Christian. That's my little baby.
Okay, nice. I've seen some of the clips, I've seen clips live in your church. And yeah, you do wear all those hats very well, I must say. Renee, you are indeed a light. You see, I agree with you. Who was that? Yes, Miss Webb. It is Miss Webb. I agree with you. And Simone Archer, my classmate and colleague. And somebody with your last name had put in, I think 2 people with your last name had put in. So the whole family is here. It's a family affair. All right. Now, you have a passion for children and young people, but you've taught at every level of the education system throughout your 20-year teaching career. Walk me through your professional career since all time at the mic. Tell me how you started.
Well, to tell you the truth, Mr. Matthews, I would need another session just to let you know, because it's like 20 years of experience we are talking about.
Wow.
But in a nutshell, I'd have to try to summarize it. And you know, my life is very exciting. And so if I start, I know that I will be all over the place. But when I left Michael, I did physical education and computer information technology as my option. So when I left Michael, I got a job at Bridgeport High School doing physical education. And for the first 3 years of that experience, I was a physical education teacher. But I was working for someone and they came back for the job. So I left the institution and went to a prep school. But before all of that, I was teaching art and craft at a primary school during the summertime for 4 years. So the experience for the primary education was even before leaving Michael. Then I also got the opportunity to teach at my basic school at church and at another basic school in Portmore when I was out of a job for a little while. But it was more of a voluntary experience, teaching at the infant level and the basic school, and also at church when I assisted with the beginners class. So that's how I got to the babies. Now for adults, I taught at the institution that our church has, Edgewater Baptist Church, center where they would teach adults how to use the computer. And when they initially started the program, I was one of the persons who would teach the computer classes. And for about 3 to 4 years, I was there doing computer with adults. And I also did my practicum at an adult institution where I was able to have some classes and lessons with persons who were adults. Then pardon?
I said they still call that. I am getting that feedback as well. I'm working on it. The persons that are hearing it, I'll get it started in a minute. But go ahead.
And then most of the experience that I have had was with the high school, doing physical education and computer, and a whole lot of other subjects. I can tell you, in 2011, I was teaching 3 unrelated subjects, moving from physical education classes in my gears, all ready with my sneakers and all, running from the sun to the AC for the computer classes, then back into the guidance class, because I also started doing some guidance classes at that time.
Right.
Martin, I must tell you, I even did Spanish. Can you believe it? I taught Spanish. I tell you, the first Spanish class, the place popped up. People could not believe it. And I did not let anyone know that I did not, do much Spanish. But the first class, we were doing vowel sounds. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. I'm saying, but the place pop up. The teachers have come. Miss Mair, take time, because you're disturbing the other classes. The students love the class. I love the class. It was just a ball. So I'm telling you that God really used me in the education system at all levels, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed it.
That's excellent. That is excellent. And this echo seems to not be going away. I give up. All right, now you refer to yourself as teaching guidance, right? Not as is. Well, let me see if I get this right. You refer to yourself as teaching guidance at Bridgeport. Is teaching guidance and being a guidance counselor the same thing?
It is the same, because we have psychoeducational classes, and that's the area that I refer to when I say a guidance teacher. And the teacher part of me will always be there, from Michael being there and doing the courses that we did as a teacher. So it will never come out of me. So I love the psychoeducational aspect of being a guidance counselor. But then the counseling aspect is another area that we have to do, because remember, we have preventive, we have interventive and supportive being guidance. But I really love the psychoeducation classes. So maybe that's why the emphasis was there as a guidance teacher.
Okay. How do you believe your role as a guidance counselor, or the role of the guidance counseling department, is viewed by your institution and institutions in general?
Well, I know that generally it is a crucial entity in all schools, especially in our high schools, knowing what usually takes place in schools. And from being at Bridgeport High School, it's a team effort. Our guidance team is doing well, and it's making a real impact at the Bridgeport High School. So I use the opportunity to big up our HOD, Mrs. Forbes, and Mrs. Fraser Brown. We are doing so well there at the Bridgeport High School.
Nice. Now, the reason I ask that, sometimes I feel like the guidance counselor is used as like backup for a couple things that really, it's almost like when kids they just kind of shuffle them to the guidance counselor department, almost like they're the babysitters for the school, as opposed to respecting the craft of guidance counseling and the role that it plays in the development of children. That's how it was for me. Do you think it still has that kind of feel to it, or are teachers nowadays more appreciative of the role of the guidance counseling in the development of children, especially children that are more, that require special attention to fit in mainstream?
Okay, I believe, based on what you said, that persons are becoming more appreciative of the role of the guidance counselor. So they are not just seeing it as sending the students to the guidance counselor and allow the guidance counselor to fix the situation.
Right.
But we are now having more of a partnership, more of a supportive role where teachers are partnering with parents, parents with the guidance counselors partnering with the principals and vice principals, the administrators. So everybody is working together as one. Even the persons outside who sell at the gate, we are working together as one. So it's not the same as in the past, but now persons are appreciating the role of our guidance counselors, and it's getting better. But I must say that there is still room for improvement, because in every system and in every organization, we know that there are going to be limitations and we need to improve on it. So I know that it have, little areas that needs improvement, but for most part, we are all working together as a team. And I have a little saying that I love to use: coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. And I can say that this has been done even in my situation. I can't speak for everyone, and I know that some counselors might have different experiences, but for most part, for me personally, we have been working together with parents, all the stakeholders, with the people at the gate, the security, the guardsman, everybody. I must say that everyone at our school, especially, they know the role that we play as guidance counselor, and they are working with us. I am not hearing.
All right, Mike. All right. I was still trying to get the feedback, and it refused to leave. I will say this though. I ran into my guidance counselor the other day. My guidance counselor at my school. And she said, Martin, you have gray hair? She knew my name, full name. I ran up to her. I was just on vacation. The lady still knew my name, my full government. Reach on my arm, hug me, as if we've been in. I haven't seen this lady for God knows how long. Knew my full name, and I think guidance counselors kind of have that bond with students that are unbreakable. Once you actually realize the role that the guidance counselor plays and how different, because I will say one thing I got from guidance counselors over the years is their objectivity. They would always treat a child like a child, in the sense that they'd have a mutual respect for you. So when some of the other teachers would be less patient and they're not really, you don't really entertain your thoughts if it's not consistent with theirs, the guidance counselor would always come out as being more willing to hear what you have to say, hear you out, and work on it. And I think Miss Webb is Miss Webb a guidance counselor too?
She's a senior education officer in Region 6. It is Miss Stephanie Webb Parker. Thank you, Miss Webb Parker.
All right, there you go. Now, Renee, you try your best to be a positive impact to everyone you come in contact with. You see yourself as being appointed by God to carry out your purpose and fulfill your calling. What is that purpose to which you have been called, and how are you fulfilling?
Well, based on the many entities that I have been involved in, I know that there is purpose and I am fulfilling that call. I can even start with being a part of the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education, and the impact that it has been on my life, being a part of the organization, and how I have been able to reach out to many individuals. And I must say that even with my involvement in the church, it has opened many doors for me. Well, my motto is touching hearts and changing lives. So I'm here to bring insight and I'm here to empower. So as you said earlier, I am here to shine so that others will see Christ in and through me and glorify God. And I have a little acronym for SHINE. I say S, I am supposed to share and sometimes smile, give them a beautiful smile. And for H, I'm supposed to help. So whatever way that I can help others, then my living shall not be in vain. And the I in shine is to inspire. And I believe that I've been doing that a whole lot, especially as you said, some of the students who are considered bad, they send them to me, and I try my best to inspire them. And N, notify. I try my best with my little notices and with my little reminders to notify others, even getting the opportunity to write some little motivational quotes, and also the mental health self-care. So that's my way to notify others. And finally, E, for empowerment. And I have been doing a lot of that, especially with our psychoeducational classes, even while students are at home, and using the virtual space to do that. So yes, I am making an impact even with COVID, and even with persons resorting to the online platform.
Now, so you would be given the opportunity to tell me that I know you're making an impact. I just want to put that out there. I was just giving the people that don't know the opportunity to tell them. I know. I'm just saying. Now, let's do this. I'm gonna get in your business a little bit. I wouldn't be true to myself and my personality. I would. So let's just do it. You're happily single. Never married, no children, as far as I'm aware of. As attractive and outgoing as you are, I am going to assume that this is a conscious decision that you have made. Now, if this is so, or is this so, or is it that Mr. Right simply hasn't presented himself yet? God hasn't put him in your path yet.
Okay, it's a conscious decision, but at the same time, I am still waiting for Mr. Right to make his appearance so that he can sweep me off my feet, so I will be able to make a proper selection. So the waiting process is taking a little longer than I expected, and all the persons from church, they know that I'm looking forward to that day when Mr. Right will find me. Because it is said that a man who finds a wife finds a good thing, and she shall be a blessing to him. So I really want to be a blessing and a favor to that man who shall find me. So it's really a conscious decision, but at the same time, I'm still waiting for that Mr. Right to make that move in the right direction.
Praise the Lord. We're going to have testimonies in a minute. I'll call it some offering. Now, back in the day, right? Back in my day, older female family members and friends would have a lot to say about a woman that was single beyond a certain age. Now, please tell me that this is not so and these things don't still exist.
Okay, you know that certain things will be in our culture no matter how long we live. But at the same time, you just have to be at that place where you are content enough not to listen to the critics and not to get disheartened and discouraged because of what is taking place or what others are saying. But for most part, everyone is looking forward. For me, it's not the same because they're saying when they're going to get them cake, when they understand. So for me, the adults around me, they are very welcoming and looking forward to that day. But you know, Martin, that can't happen now with 25 persons at a wedding, and then understand what's going on. It has my celebration. It has to be international.
Yeah, but COVID, but you have to wait after. Yeah, have big wedding plans and wait for the things so long. I have 25, no more people. No, sir.
25 is just my house alone. You get me?
Can't work.
Our battery is not even counted in that 25 as yet.
Yeah, by me alone, with my crew from Mandeville. But then when the crew come at 25, that easy. All right, now let me ask you this. What advice do you give to a single woman, a single younger woman that is out there today regarding being single on her terms or staying single on her terms?
Well, there are many things that I can say, and I probably need a whole show just to tell you, to tell those persons out there what to do. But I can use my personal experience. I would say get active, ensure that you have dreams and keep your dreams alive. Don't wait on a man in order for you to progress and to do something with yourself. You have to encourage yourself. And I also have an acronym for that because everything I love is words. And before you get into the relationship, you have to be complete. And I'm working on being complete. And I use these words for spelling out the word complete. C, you have to be content. Remember what Paul said. He learned the art of being content in any situation that he found himself. And M, O is the other one. You have to be obedient. So how can you want to get into a relationship and you can't obey God? You have to be obedient and submissive to that person when you actually get into the relationship. And M, you have to be mature. There are persons that believe that they are ready for a certain relationship, but the maturity is just not there. And you have to just ensure that you are mature before. And P, you have to live a life of purpose. And I must say that I am very purposeful and intentional in how I am living. And as a young person, I would say, get involved in something productive, something bigger than yourself, and live a purposeful life. And the L, you have to be loving. Love yourself, love others. How comes you want to enter a relationship and you can't love? So you have to reach a stage where you can love. And E is you have to be an encourager. No man don't want somebody who going nag them all the time. He wants somebody to encourage him. So you have to be an encourager. And T, you have to be trustworthy. You have to be worthy of trust, and you have to be able to trust yourself and trust that individual too. And finally, the last E is eager. You have to be eager about what you're doing. Don't just sit down. Fan me, soldier man, fan me, and sit down at the rocking chair waiting for Mr. Right to come along. Get up and find something to do and be eager about it. So, Martin, you have to have a show for singleness and for the single person specific because I have a whole lot to share with them.
I'm ready when you're ready. And I say it all the time too. Two halves, when it comes to people and relationships, two halves don't make a whole. Two halves make two half of people. So you can't, like you said, you have to know, you have to be whole in yourself first before you go see somebody. You can't be half, and go look at next half and think you have to make one. You have to have two half of people in a one relationship. You have to be whole, the person has to be whole, and then it can become one. But the half and half only become two halves. Powerful.
Well, I don't want a half man. I want a whole man. And I want to be a whole woman too. So anybody who looking in my direction but I know say if you might come half and 50-50, it never work. You might come full 100.
Full 100. There you go. We're going to schedule the next show. When we're done, we're going to schedule the next show right now because we need to get all the way down into these things. And but it's true though, because I think especially when education is missing, self-awareness is missing, some kind of financial stability is missing. Sometimes it warps people's perception of what they actually want. It's almost like they're in a place where some of the basic needs are not being met, so their objectivity and their rational thinking cannot really be engaged to really approach a situation that they think they want to go into. And it's like you have to find some way to center yourself and find yourself and know yourself before you actually go out there. But now say nothing else, because you kind of wrapped it up really, really, really nicely. And let's do this before we move into the second section of the show. Anything else you want to share with the folks? Any insight, any advice, encouragement before we get some poetry reading going here?
I just want to use the opportunity to say thanks to all the persons. I am seeing the comments coming up. I see my aunt in Atlanta. She just made a comment. Thank you, Aunt Telma. And my word out there would be just wait. Denial is delay rather is not denial. So you have to wait your wait and just wait on God's timing and things will work out. That was my experience on the job. I had to wait a while before becoming a guidance counselor. I studied for 8 long years, and it was about after 10 years or so that I finally got the position as a guidance counselor. So I would say delay is not denial. So please wait your wait and things will work out in time.
Aye, aye, aye. I think we're gonna sing some more choruses, and then we're gonna take some testimonies, and then we're gonna read some poetry. All right, let's see who we have here though. I'll tell my big up yourself. And I don't know where Megan is. Oh, around here. I think I got it, Megan. My apologies. All right, so Miss Mair, what are you gonna read for the folks today?
Pardon? What's that?
I said, what are you going to read for the folks today, my dear?
Oh, the poetry. Well, I selected this one. I fell in love with from the book, and it is entitled "The Lady."
The Lady. I
Yes.
can't almost guess why you choose the lady, but I'm gonna let you get into it first, and then we get into it together. So whenever you are ready, ma'am, read the reading for today is coming from the Chronicles of a Black Man, page 59, and we're gonna have Sister Deacon Mair read it for us. Whenever you're ready, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay, so I fell in love with the lady. This poem. Comfortable enough around her to do something silly, endearing enough to show her you are witty, simple enough to undergo the mundane, knowing no time spent together is ever in vain. She inspires you to ascribe to a higher goal, to look past the segments and address the whole, to dig deep and make the necessary changes, to be steadfast as you move through life stages. Her sincerity is a thing to admire. Her loyalty stands tall like a tall. There's just something special about her that gets you. You try to avoid it, but it proves itself true. She is special, unique. She is the one meant for you since before the time began. The undeniable conclusion to it all. You close your eyes and turn your back and fall. Trusting her outstretched arms to always catch you, showing her daily, you will also catch her too. A designated special place in your life, even if she never becomes your wife.
Okay.
The Chronicles of a Black Man, Book 1, Love.
Okay. Sounds good. Now, Renee, all them dramatization, that was excellent. That was very, very excellent. That was excellent. That was very, very excellent. And thank you so much. Now, here's I'll tell my seriously the poem about she. Yes, I'll tell you. Here what you do, I'll tell you. You need to go get the book. Like I said, it's behind me there. And if where's Aunt Thelma? Jamaica?
No, she's in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Find it on Amazon, Aunt Thelma. I will put the link. I will put the comment in the link, or find me on Facebook. Anyways, talking this and talking that. I usually ask this question further down in the show, but I want to know right now, why is this the poetry you chose, Miss Renee?
Well, I was captivated by the title. When I saw the lady, you guess who I saw? Lady Ren. So I was really captivated. My attention was drawn to the title of the poem, The Lady. And as I saw the lady, I said, wow, this poem must be about me.
Must be about you. You are Aunt Thelma. All right, that's good. Now, let's do this. What does stanza 1 of the poem tell us about how the narrator feels about the subject of the poem? And I'm going to reread stanza 1 real quick. It says, comfortable enough around her to do something silly, endearing enough to show her you're witty, simple enough to undergo the mundane, knowing no time spent together is ever in vain. What does that stanza tell us about how the narrator feel about the person he's writing about?
Martin, you know that I'm a guidance counselor, so I'm going to be taking it from a very emotional stance.
Tell us.
So this person was very comfortable with this individual, and there is some form of emotional attachment in this poem from the first stanza.
Now, the characteristics of the lady described in stanza 2 are not, in my mind, typical of how men usually describe women that they like or they love. Do you agree? Now, let's look at the characteristics mentioned. It says she inspires you to subscribe to a higher goal, to look past the segment and address the whole, to dig deep and make the necessary changes, to be steadfast as we move through the stages. This seemed like it not normal to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Not many persons would be digging deep for change. No man don't want a woman who is going to be telling them what to do and wanting to change them. They would want someone to accept them for who they are. So to some extent, but many women should be desirous of having a man like this, where she can inspire him to change for the better. But not many persons will look at it as that, as how the poem really put it. Yes.
Okay. Now, do you think so? Some men look for this at all. Like, what do if this is not the way they approach it? How do they approach it? What do they usually look for? What do they usually see?
Well, I can only assume because I'm not a man, but knowing from what I know, Mr. Matthews, men will be looking for the outer appearance, the beauty, the body, you understand, the physique, and all of that. Person becoming like a good mother, someone to take care of them, but not somebody who's going to inspire them and dig deep. Persons are more materialistic. That is my belief, and that is how I would assume.
I think usually, and me being a guy, usually you're talking to people and they tell you, say, they meet a girl. They meet a girl, you see? Usually what comes after that is not, she inspires me to subscribe to a higher goal. That's not usually what comes
No.
It's usually, you're right, how she look, how she this, how she that. Now, stanza 4, the lady is being described as the one. The one. Now, in your travels, your experiences, are folks out there today still looking for the one?
Yes, this will never ever change. Everybody is looking for the one. Yes, it is going to be that way for a long time. And there are many things that persons are still looking for in the one. And people talk about having a soulmate, people talking about having a connection, a soul connection, and all of that. So I believe, yes, we will never ever get away from persons looking for the one. But I must say that there are going to be many the one before some persons find the right one. So
Okay.
again.
So what is that a thing, Doreen? Is that a thing? Can there be more than one the one? I thought that was like a singular entity.
Well, Martin, with how relationships are going, everybody that who enters a relationship always say that they found the one. And looking back at many of the marriages and relationship, I'm wondering what happened to the spark and what happened to the one, because some of those the one actually ended up being the wrong one.
And it was something we mentioned before, where it was two halves thinking they find the one, or the other half that go make them the one. Or like we've already established, two halves when it comes to people, a relationship only leave you with two halves, not one. Now, the last stanza, the narrator talks about things he's willing to do for the lady. I'm gonna read that real quick. The last sentence says, trusting her. This is the part you dramatized just now, so I'm gonna read it again real quick. It said, trusting her outstretched arms to always catch you, showing her daily you will always catch her too. A designated special place in your life, even if she never becomes your wife. Now, does this approach, or what does this approach tell us about reciprocity in a relationship? And what are your views on the role of reciprocity in a relationship?
Well, as you said, it's not a half-hearted thing. Each person should give their best in the relationship, full 100. So you should invest in the relationship, and even to the extent that you might lose some of your investment. But I believe that each individual in the relationship should play their part effectively in order to maintain the relationship and to keep it going. But you have to first have a foundation. And I can go back to biblical experiences and days to tell you how important the foundation should be laid. Remember that story about persons building on the sand and persons building on the stone and the rock?
Yep.
The both of them had ambition, you know. I remember my pastor did a sermon on it. The both of them had ambition. They were building, but the foundation was just not laid for the persons who built on the sand. So when the pressures of life for the relationship and challenges came, it went down. But the persons who build their foundation on the rock, Jesus Christ himself, as Peter said, the chief cornerstone, build it good and proper, then you'll be able to build on that relationship. So I believe each person should invest in the relationship, not just 50-50, but full 100, so that they will be able to maintain and build upon that foundation which is laid. So investment is real for any relationship at all. Whether it is an intimate relationship, a friendship, family relationship, I believe all relationships should have a mutual.
Yes.
Mutual.
Boy, you see when you start talking, we just stop talking. I like how you sound, I like how you talk. Yes, cause I like big up yourself. Now, the last line of the poem can be viewed as inconsistent with the rest of the poem. The last line of the poem says, even if she never becomes my wife. Do you agree or disagree that this is inconsistent with the kind of vibe that the rest of the poem has? And what if either way, what does that line being placed there relative to the rest of the poem? How does it, what's the significance of it, if any?
Okay, yes, I agree, because something is wrong with that line. It actually, as I was enjoying the poem, all of a sudden this person is investing so much time, everything we do is not in vain, and all of that, and falling, and all that, and then all of a sudden the person will not become your wife. You say, oh my, but at the same time, something is preventing them from going forward. And based on what is happening now, it could be that this lady is the wife of somebody else. The entanglement, may I tell you, Martin, something not real about that. So a lot of things. And based on what is happening in our society, this is a real issue. Persons have been investing in a relationship and it did not work out the way that they wanted to work out, and then it just ended in, in some disastrous situation. So I believe that we have to be careful about relationships. Some men are just preparing some women for another man, put it that way.
Oh boy. Entanglement business anyway, boy. The entanglement business is a pretty at all. Another thing that came to mind as you were speaking just now, though, is could it be that there's a certain level of maturity being exercised here? Could it be that it's not that it's inconsistent, it's just that, like you say, people have you have to know yourself, so could it be that you're looking at it and you're actually just being objective in the sense that, you know what, as much as this is so on, I'm going in with my eyes wide open, I am whole by myself, and as much as I admire this person, you know, if it comes down that they know too much entanglement is entangled around them, then I'm willing to walk away if necessary. What do you think?
Yeah, that could be a way to look at it, but many times persons are not at that level of maturity. So when they, because recently we heard about the case where the man said that he invested in this lady when she was sick, and he was arguing with her over the phone, and he was going to hurt her. He thought that he invested a lot in her and she was leaving the relationship, even if the relationship had abuse in it. Still yet, it is not so easy for a person just to let go. After we're talking about years of investment, so to speak, quote to quote, and then the person just say, I don't love you anymore. Not many persons have reached that certain level of maturity just to walk away and let the person, live their lives. So we have to be really careful. And I would be happy if that was the situation then where persons are mature enough to know that even though we have invested so much in this relationship and we thought that it would have been a long-term relationship, but it did not work out. I wish you well, and it is bye. Do you know that some persons are better off being friends than lovers?
True
And
that.
we need another show, Martin. You have to go get another show for that part. And I tell you, there is more that we can say about this poem. So let me just zip it up before you understand. I get over too
I'm ready.
emotional about it.
Here's the thing. I'm ready with my idea. I do this. I do this. This is what I does. But yeah, that was a great analysis. Now the poem is the lady. Who would you recommend this poem for? Why and what takeaways would you say there is from this poem?
All right, well, I got many things from it, but I would say I would recommend it for everyone. I would recommend it for everyone, both males and females. A man should inspire to have a lady like this. I'm really there to check for him, to inspire him to the point of causing him to change for the better. He should trust this lady. Remember, I said trustworthiness was one of the things that we need. He should trust this lady so that when her arms are outstretched, she will grab him and he will do the same for her. So I believe males need this poem, and I also think that ladies need to have this poem too, to know that they can be comfortable with the person that they are thinking about getting in an intimate relationship or any form of relationship in, and that the ladies reading this poem will know what to look for as they develop this relationship with this person.
Ay, ay, ay. All right. Now, I cannot believe we covered so much in such little time. We covered quite a bit, and we're still good with time. So, any last remarks? Read the poem, read your career, read the coach, reading the mentor, reading the guidance counselor, reading any of the half dozen hats that you wear before we jump off here.
Okay, my encouragement would be just be the best version of you that you can be. Be self-aware, be self-assured, affirm yourself daily. Don't wait on someone to do it for you. I am happy that I did not stay at one level. I got the opportunity to do a master's in counseling psychology at the Caribbean Graduate School of Theology. I see persons from the institution on. So don't stay at one level. Get a diploma, get a certificate, move from that. I know the money will not be there right away, but you can work your way up. So don't be stagnant, be dynamic. I would encourage everyone to be intentional about what they're doing. And I also say, I don't even know if I'm going to say it, but just make sure that you are available before you get entangled.
I really appreciate you being on the show today, my dear. I wasn't ready for you. I was not ready for you at all. You bring it harder than I thought you would have brought it. And I really enjoyed myself here. I can see the fans or the folks watching really enjoyed themselves as well. And we're definitely gonna have to set up round two of the show because, like you said, there's still so much to see.
Okay, just a minute before you leave, though, I want everyone to get a copy of the book. Please, everyone, purchase a copy of this book. There is a poem in it for everyone. I had a challenge choosing, but when I saw the lady, I just said, Lady Ren, but at the same time, there is a poem in it for you. Chronicles of a Black Man from my brother and my friend, Martin Matthews. Please, it's on Amazon. Check it out because there is a poem in there for you.
Blessings, Renee, my dear. Blessings. Thank you. And you take care, all right?
You are most welcome. So it was nice being here. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Yes,
and thanks to all my family and friends who came on. I really appreciate it.
All right, Renee. All right, peoples. That's the ball game, believe it or not. Can I tell you, Renee brought it. She bring it. She hit. You call that? She hit it out of the ballpark, all the way out of the ballpark. I appreciate you so much, my dear. I thoroughly enjoyed that show. Very insightful. A lot of things to share, and I thank you taking the time. For the folks viewing, if you have not yet subscribed, if you're watching via YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, share. Starting next week, we're actually gonna do the Evening People show at a different day, at a different time. My work schedule has actually changed, and because of that, it is messing up with my business. But we are gonna still do it. When I create the event, you will see it. Hit that get reminder button so you know when we go live. And always be safe out there. And I definitely appreciate you guys joining. And if this is your first time, guess what you're about to find out? That when it's time to end the show, I just be like,